Chapter 2. Opportunities between Point A and Point B. We're taught from a young age to focus on the finish line. You start at Point A, set your sights on Point B, and work as hard as you can until you get there. Point B becomes the dream job, the house, the financial target, the title that represents success. For most people, achievement means reaching that Point B. But here's what almost no one tells you. The real breakthroughs rarely happen at Point B. They happen between Point A and Point B. The between is where doors open, where connections happen, where unexpected opportunities show up, and where life presents you with options you never imagined when you first set the goal. Most people miss these openings because they're so locked onto Point B that they never look around. Think about a long road trip. Some people stare at the destination, counting kilometers or time left to go. But every exit hides something new. Maybe a small town that sparks your next business idea. Maybe a detour that leads to someone who changes your life. Maybe just a view that reminds you why you started. The reset button lets you pull over, take that exit, and actually see what's around you. Why reset when things are good? If something isn't working, pressing reset is obvious. You don't need a philosophy for that. Survival forces the change. Business failing? You'll pivot. Career miserable? You'll look for something new. Resetting at rock bottom is just instinct. This book isn't about that. The reset button is about the moment when things are working, when you're doing well, when you're on track, when you've hit a goal you once only dreamed about. That's the stage most people don't think about because comfort makes us think the journey is done. Here's the trap. You today aren't the same person who set that original goal. You've grown, you've learned, you've changed, but you're still chasing a Point B that belongs to your past self. Without hitting reset, you miss the bigger vision that fits who you've become. Picture a sailor setting course across the ocean. Midway through, the winds shift, just slightly. If he doesn't adjust his direction, he'll still move fast, but end up miles from where he actually wanted to go. Life works the same way. Small adjustments keep you aligned with who you've become, not who you were when you started. Leaving everything behind. The space between comfort and growth is never comfortable. It's that quiet stretch where logic says stay, but instinct says move. Most people avoid it because it feels uncertain. But that uncertainty is often where your next life is waiting. I've been there. The hardest moment came in 2019. My wife and I decided to leave everything that looked secure. We were both working for one of the largest construction companies in North America. For two immigrants who started with nothing, this was the dream families talk about. Senior positions, respect. Together, we were making nearly $500,000 a year through salary and shares. Everything we were taught to chase: security, recognition, comfort. Something didn't feel right. Coming from immigrant families, we knew how rare these opportunities were. Not everyone who arrives in Canada learns a new language, earns a degree, and builds a career at this level. We were proud, just not fulfilled. The drive that used to fuel us was fading. Weekends would come, everything would be calm, and we'd both feel this strange frustration, this invisible tension from knowing we weren't living our full potential. When we started talking about leaving to start our own company, we'd mention it casually to friends and family. The response was almost always the same: disbelief and concern. You're making a mistake. Why would you risk everything when you've already made it? Their reactions came from love, but they added weight to the decision. We were already comfortable, already successful. But comfort can look like happiness while it's quietly dulling your edge. The entrepreneurial spirit that had always defined me was slipping away. I knew if I didn't press the reset button, I'd lose a part of myself that no title or paycheck could replace. So we pressed it. We left stability for uncertainty, comfort for possibility. Strangely, it felt like being a teenager again, full of energy, curiosity, and determination. Except this time, we had experience, we had skill, we had clarity. We weren't running from something, we were returning to who we actually were. Two partners driven by vision, building something of our own. Not for validation, for freedom. Then the world changed. COVID hit. The economy slowed. Everything around us became uncertain. But our growth never stopped. Every challenge just strengthened our focus. The business we built grew tenfold year after year during one of the most unstable periods in modern history. That reset was the hardest and most important one of our lives. It didn't just change our careers, it changed us. We found ourselves again. No masks, no limits, no fear. Here's what I learned. The greatest resets rarely happen when things fall apart. They happen when everything looks perfect from the outside. Real growth starts the moment you stop protecting the life you've built and start rebuilding it around who you've become. The opportunity my friend missed. A friend of mine once turned down a career offer that could have changed his life. Why? The title wasn't what he'd pictured as his point B. He told himself he was being disciplined, holding out for the right opportunity. But really, he had a blind spot. The offer wasn't just a job. It was a door into an entirely new level of his field. A door that doesn't open twice. But because the label didn't match the finish line he'd imagined years before, he let it pass. Looking back, he knows he screwed up. He confused being loyal to his original point B with being true to his bigger potential. He missed what was between. Sometimes your next dream doesn't come with the title you expected. It shows up disguised as extra work, a new direction, a smaller door that opens to a much larger world. The restaurant owner who kept growing. Imagine someone who's always dreamed of owning a restaurant. They work hard. They take the risk. Eventually, they open a place that becomes successful. The income is high. The community loves it. Life finally feels stable. Point B achieved. Most people stop there. Why risk what's working? Why shake things up when you're comfortable and proud of what you built? Pressing the reset button changes the story. Instead of saying, "I made it," this person asks, "What's next? What's bigger?" The vision upgrades from running one restaurant to building a franchise. That means starting over, researching, learning how to scale, taking new risks, and facing uncertainty. Not because they hated the restaurant they had, because they saw a larger future waiting beyond the comfort of success. That's what the reset button does. It helps you step into a stronger possibility even when you love where you are. Success isn't the ending. It's the sharpening of a knife. Every time you reach a milestone, you test your edge, sharpen your skills, and get ready to carve something greater. How I kept resetting. This philosophy has guided my own journey. Early on, I had a tenant in one of my properties. I worked hard to give them a great place to live. I took pride in the service and experience I could provide. That felt like success. Then I hit the reset button. Instead of just providing one great home, I asked, what if I could do this for others on a larger scale? That's when I stepped into corporate housing. Soon, I was hosting celebrities, athletes, and companies from around the world. The opportunity between my original point B and my future opened up. Then came the next reset. I didn't just want to manage corporate housing for others. I wanted to build my own portfolio, so I started acquiring more units. What started as one property grew into a real estate business. The resets didn't stop there. Eventually, my partner and I built a fast-growing construction company that continues to evolve. Together, we're working toward a clear goal: becoming one of the most reliable and respected construction companies in Canada. That journey continues. While we were building the construction company, carrying the reset button with us, we discovered something new: a separate opportunity in development. With the skills we've gained, the financial capability we've built, and the deep experience we now have in both real estate and construction, we see the chance to create a new company focused on development. This isn't replacing what we built. The construction company will keep growing. But pressing reset has let us see there's a bigger horizon beyond construction alone. One where we combine what we've learned and create something new together. That's the essence of the reset button. When things are going well, you don't stop. You pause, reset, and realign your goals to the person and the team you've become. Each reset has led us to greater opportunities. Each time, the vision has grown stronger. What comfort hides? Comfort is dangerous because it feels like success. You hit a milestone and think, "This is it, I made it." But what if the real opportunity was one step further? What if the version of success you set your eyes on years ago is smaller than what you're actually capable of today? That's where the reset button comes in. It makes you pause and ask, 1. Am I chasing the same dream I set 10 years ago, even though I've outgrown it? 2. Am I measuring success by who I used to be instead of who I am now? 3. Is there a bigger door opening right now that I can't see because I'm too focused on being comfortable? When you reset in the middle of success, you realign your goals with who you've become. That's when the real opportunities between point A and point B show themselves. Sometimes the space between two goals is small, just a single decision or one conversation. But small doesn't mean insignificant. Those small moments are often where the biggest breakthroughs start. What between actually means? The between isn't about getting distracted. It's not about abandoning what you built. It's about expanding what you see. You still get to celebrate point B. You just don't stop there. You don't get fooled into thinking the journey's over. You carry the reset button with you and press it while things are going well. That way, you don't just reach the goal you set years ago. You see the greater version that was waiting just past it. That's the difference between settling for success and stepping into greatness. The road between A and B isn't a straight line. It's open water. You're the captain. Point B is just a visible island on the horizon. The real discovery happens when you sail a little further and realize there's an entire continent waiting beyond it. What happens between? Every major turning point lives in that quiet space between who you were and who you're becoming. Most people rush through it. They want clarity. They want certainty. But that space is where transformation actually happens. It's uncomfortable. It's unpredictable. From the outside, it often looks like nothing, but it's where alignment begins. When you learn to pause there instead of running from it, you start seeing patterns and truths and opportunities that used to hide behind comfort. The reset button isn't a leap backward or forward. It's the decision to stay present long enough to see what's possible between point A and point B. That space is where the future takes shape.